It's been a fascinating day here at Match. It's been a great few days in Dublin, and it's been very challenging. And I know that I'm standing between you and drinks, and I know that time is running out. So I will respect that and try to keep this as brief as possible. But I do want to make some points, because I think what's become apparent today, discussing exploding media, is that the things that we thought we knew, many of the assumptions behind our business models, our practices, our ways of engagement, the futures that we once imagined are clearly no longer out there. If we live in a multiverse, if we live in a world of parallel universes, we've chosen, or we have ended up in the one, dominated by electronics, dominated by digital circuits and digital data, and that has enormous consequences for almost every aspect of our culture, of our society, of the way we live our lives. Each one of us, not just us in this room, not just the privileged Western countries, but the whole world, all of humanity. And I want to explore some of the implications of that from the context of my current role, which is, I'm grandly called the Head of Partnership Development for the BBC Archive Development team. So I have development twice in my job title, and that is a lot of developing. So I want to explore what it means from the context of that role, describe a little bit about what we're doing there, but talk more broadly about digital culture. This woman is Joan Didion. She's an American writer and essayist, and she wrote a book called The Year of Magical Thinking, about what happened when her husband died at the dinner table. She was in the kitchen making a salad. She heard him go quiet. She looked, he'd had a heart attack, he was dead. She reckons he died before his head hit the table, but he was rushed to the emergency ward and they tried to resuscitate him and failed. And it's a very moving book, which I recommend you to read, but only if you're in the comfort of someone you love. It was a play, Vanessa Redgrave performed it, I saw her, and it's a wonderful book. And the magical thinking that Joan Didion talks about is about the belief that somehow it could have been different, that you can imagine it different, that he's still alive, that she doesn't throw his shoes away because he might need them. And I feel there's an enormous amount of magical thinking around our engagement with digital culture and digital technologies. I fear far too many people, me too, all of us, because it's more comforting, don't want to accept the enormity of what's changing. We want to believe that most game players are not in fact women over 40, even though the evidence shows that they are. We want to believe that people will still be buying magazines in 20 years, even though the evidence is they won't. We want to believe newspapers will still be published in 5 years, but sadly John Mulholland's had to go. He won't be printing on paper in 5 years' time. We want to believe all of this because it helps us create a narrative. It helps us get from here to there. It helps us to understand the world we're living in. And that links directly to the theme of this particular session, which is about telling stories.